Welcome into a very exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today from Kiss Country in Mason City, Iowa, it's Jay Brooks. Jay, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Got to be awkward getting on the other side of the interview, huh?
Right. Yeah, this doesn't happen very often.
Well, I'm glad we could make it happen, man. I know you've been out there, you've been supporting our Midwest Country Music Organization members. We were very fortunate to pick up a nomination for Content Creator of the Year with our podcast this year. But we want to support not just the musicians, but the media people that are surrounding this organization as well. And your names come up a lot. So before we get too far into the interview and our conversation, why don't you tell people a little bit about your background in radio and we'll kind of pick things up from there.
Well, it was one of those things where I started. People ask me all the time, how can I get into radio? I got to go to school, do this, do that. I just worked part time through high school. I was 15, 16 years old, and did whatever I could to get on the air, even if it was just doing the weather. And I don't know if you guys, Mike Harvey's Super Gold. I don't know if you ever heard of that or not. It was, but that's where I started doing all that and got on the air to do the weather and then got out of that and did a little bit. I was in the agriculture business with I was a parts guy at John Deere, and then got back into it. I was filling in part time at a country station, and then just kept putting me in there, going, "Hey, we don't have a morning guy. Can you do this? Can you do that?" And finally, I just told him, I said, "I'm not doing it no more unless just give me the job. Otherwise, I'm not coming in." So, and that's kind of how the whole Jay Brooks and the it was Jay and Friends at the start way back when, and then now it's Jay Brooks in the Morning Rush. So yeah. So the Friends are the funny thing is my co-host, my sports guy was his last name was Friends, Frenz, and so we just tied the Jay Brooks and Friend or Jay and Friends in the morning, and meaning all the listeners were our friends. So just
I
spelled different.
got I gotta meet this guy. So I have Starts as my last name. So
Uh-huh.
Starts and Ends is the name of my band, ENDZ. And then I created a our Facebook group where we, collect our fans. It's called Starts and Friends
Oh,
with FRIENDZ. But yeah, now I gotta meet your partner in crime, man, and we can get a Starts and Friends picture for real.
yeah. No kidding. That'd be perfect.
Too
So.
cool, man. So yeah, you've been in radio a long time, worked your way up from the bottom until you just had to eventually strong arm them for the position, steal that microphone right out from underneath them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and not let it go, man. I love it. So how did you end up getting involved with our Midwest Country Music Organization? Is the station a member of the org?
Yeah, absolutely. We're up for a station nomination again this year.
Oh,
So,
fantastic. Congratulations to you guys.
yeah, congratulations to you too. But yeah, so we were in on the early launch of this whole thing. There's like three stations, and PT and I were talking, and Bob were talking when they were getting this whole thing. This is what they liked. They told me the vision, what they wanted to do. There's a couple other radio guys too that were in stations that were in on it early too, and we just talked about what the vision of the show and what we want to do with Midwest artists, because there's a lot of very talented artists that are on this organization and actually in the Midwest. So, but yeah, and I like it because it's all about local and supporting your own, and that's what they're doing, and giving people the artists the opportunity to get onto actual radio stations instead of going out there and playing for crowds of 10 or 20 or 100, 200 people. So it gives them, so that way when they're looking to book somebody, they go, "Hey, who's that person that you had on the radio on that show?" The Midwest organization, or Midwest Originals. Because we play it twice a week. We play it on Wednesdays at noon, and then we play it on Saturday nights at 6 p.m. And then plus besides that, I also play them once an hour, or play you guys, because you're an artist too. So get the rotation every hour, once an hour. We play somebody from the Midwest Country Originals, that so you get airplay throughout the week as well, Monday through Friday.
Is it just like for the show that week, or is it the whole catalog you're going through and picking out of that?
No, it's everybody. It doesn't. You don't have to be on the show to do it. I mean, we got a lot of people that are sending me music, and I just kind of plug it in, and I listen to it obviously, and then just plug it in and just kind of let it rotate.
That's super cool, man. There's just not a lot of space in radio for independent artists these days. Obviously, why a lot of us are attracted to the Midwest CMO just for that, right? The radio play sounds good. It was never a motivation for me. My songs have been played on the original show, which I just am tickled to know that. But I was all about the community. I saw it for
Yeah.
what it was, and it's a chamber of commerce for creative people, right?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
what we don't really have. And especially out here in the Midwest, because all of our local communities are hours from each other, right? Like it's very hard to connect with people, but we have the internet. We have, the blessing of Facebook and these social media networks where we're able to connect with people. And I'm a fairly new member. I think we just passed our 1 year mark, and I had no idea what this family was all about until we went to the awards show last year. And Jay, I sat back and I watched it and I was just like, this is it. Like, this is what I want to spend the next 2 decades of my life doing. And I didn't even really have a pot. I mean, I had brought my microphones with me and had done 25 interviews at Jam Night. I didn't know anyone. So I said, well, how am I going to meet everybody? I'm going to set my microphones down in the corner and I'm going to talk to everybody that'll come and talk to us. And we had a line just rotating through the whole night. And that's how we really introduced ourselves, but how we were introduced to the Midwest CMO. And now, right, a year later, we're getting a nomination for content creator, and we've spoken with, I don't know, dozens, maybe 100 members. I'm not even sure how many I've talked to. It all becomes a blur. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yeah.
But it was all built off of who's our community and how do we support these people. And, we kind of took it from, well, okay, radio can play the studio versions. We can have interviews the same as you could and post those. That's really nice too. And then we took it one step further with our songwriter showcases. So instead of just doing the showcase for the sake of it and playing for 15 or 30 people that might be there, and as a great networking opportunity for artists, we started shooting them in HD video. And now we're offering that as not only a show that's out on our platforms, but offering artists a chance to purchase that footage as well to use for their own platforms and to take that and to continue to build this and taking a lot of the planning effort out of the hands of the artists because it's just more time that someone doesn't have to do, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, anyway, you can get your music out there. For years, I had people around this area, because I got ties in Nashville with a lot of different artists and things like that, and working with major labels and independent artists and everything else. And people would always ask me up here, go, hey, help me get a label. What can I do to get a record label? And I said, you don't want one. I said, if you're making money here right now in the Midwest, then keep doing what you're doing. But I want to open up for Kenny Chesney. And I go, they pick their own a lot of times, but I know a lot of the Midwest artists have opened up for big name people. You don't need a record label.
It's about growing your community. It's about being the band in your small communities around you that when those acts come through, there's no one else to call, right?
Right.
Like, I know for Central Iowa, guys like Jordan Beam making a lot of noise right now, Lee Klett and his band, The Boys, and guys like Scott Kirkhart. Scott's going to be with us here at the March 9th gig, as well as Lee too. But,
is he coming back from Florida? He's down in Florida right now.
I think he's headed to Nashville this weekend, he said. So
Yeah,
I think he's on his way back home and coming back. And it's just been a blessing for me because South Dakota's kind of on the outside of the Midwest CMO, geographic area, at least, right?
Sure,
And
yeah.
South Dakota's even more remote than Iowa, right? Like y'all think you got it bad there. Well, it takes me 30 minutes to get to a damn Walmart. And then it takes me another hour from there to get to a town that has more than 10,000 people. So I think I was doing okay, right? It's really easy to feel like you're out here alone and that you're so disconnected from everything. Everyone's telling you, yo, you got to go to Nashville. You got to do this. And I'm a firm believer like you are. You don't want to go there anyway, man.
No, I tell you what, there's a lot of competition, a lot of great people down there. And a lot of our artists could actually hold their own down there. I guarantee it. but it's too far. It's warmer down, though, I'll tell you that. I just came back from there last week and listened to a lot of music and stuff. And there's some people that I go, you know what? We got artists that are better than this down up here in the Midwest. And again, you don't have to be in country music. You don't have to be in Nashville. Texas has got their own Texas sound. The Midwest has got Nashville's got their sound. The Midwest right here, we've got our sound. I like hearing songs that are about my gravel roads. you know.
Well, and I think that's not unique to you. I think that's a growing feeling among listeners as well, and they want to be connected. And it's guys like us that are bringing it to the people that are kind of building that bigger listening community now. And that takes time, right? Like it doesn't happen overnight. I'm sure listeners, your listenership has probably been dropping over the decades that you've been in the business. Local radio isn't what it used to be. There's just so much competition for people's attention these days that you have to be everywhere and you have to be special. And the way that we're special, Jay, and I'll speak for you in this regard, is that we are committed to that local identity. We're committed to supporting these artists that are close to us. And I'm not even interested in a national act, right? Like I'm not seeking them out. If they call me, I'm not going to spit in their eye, but I'm also not seeking out national level artists to do interviews on my show. It's not what I'm about. It's not the community that I'm serving. And I'm sure that you feel the same way with Kiss Country.
Yeah, I mean, I've got like I said, I got ties to Nashville, but and when they were, and some of these guys are megastars now, and I knew them before the Florida Georgia Line. I knew those guys. They sat down, nobody knew who they were. They had a big song, a little song, I guess at the time called Cruise, and they sat right in my studio. We hung out and had a good time, and I said, if you boys got my back, I got your back. I said, you got something good here. It's something a little bit different, but I said, I think people are going to hang on to it and they're going to like it. And, Low Cash Cowboys, another good friends of mine. And they're, the same thing with those guys. They came up and they played around our area a couple of different times and people supported them. So I saw back then how people and how radio actually impacts on the artist. And now moving into this after the past 4 years, 5 years, I think we've been doing this, something like that. However long the organization's been going on. And so it's good now to be able to have the ties and I could call you up and go, hey, Bubba, I need somebody for this, or whatever. And the nice thing is, too, that it's a big family community. And if you need a drummer, you just put it out there and you go, hey, I need a drummer for this weekend. Anybody free? Anybody, because not everybody's going to be doing something every single weekend. There's got to be somebody. So it's nice to see everybody helping each other out, and then to add the radio aspect of it, and PT and those guys have all done a great job at the board of directors and everybody else done a great job of it's a we thing. It's not I did this or I did that. It's we did this together.
Totally. Well, and I don't have a job without all of the artists, right? Like I don't,
right.
I don't have anything going on without the members themselves being out here. And I, not that I couldn't go find other communities, but how nice to be able to just go into the Facebook group, say, hey, you know what? My interview schedule's a little light this month. Who wants to get on and talk about their new single? And then hopefully becoming the first call when people are releasing music that, hey, we got to call Bubba and make sure we're getting on the show and being a part of that. And then I don't have to worry about planning and booking anything for the next couple of decades, right?
Right.
I just get to show up, see who's on the calendar and roll from there.
Yeah, no, that's great. Like I said, the artists are fantastic, and the whole community amongst the Midwest organization is just fantastic. I love it. I'm glad I'm a part of it. And along the way, you get it. You're up for a nomination, which is great. But I don't do it for the awards. So it's if an award comes along at some point, then great. That's awesome. So
if I win the award, Jay, I'm going to have to cut it up into 300 pieces and give everybody a little piece of it.
Right,
like
exactly.
I didn't earn this on my own. I put in a load of work, right? In the background when nobody's watching. I also write about our artists on my website, thesceneprojects.com. So we're doing little blog stuff as well. And some of our artists have turned around and used that, as part of their press kit. or they've used it to, pump up their next single and using that now. And that's where I'm like, okay, people are starting to get it, right? Like, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it because it's worth something to you. And I hope after, the awards this year and getting to see everybody that they kind of see it that way as well, as like, yeah, it's really cool to be on the radio or to be on this podcast to do that thing, but like you have to go use it then. Right? Like it just doesn't, it's not necessarily going to bring you 100,000 fans because you were on Kiss Country a couple of times this week, right? Like you have to use that notoriety and be turning people on to, hey, listen to us on Kiss Country. We're going to be on the original shows this week. Oh, and by the way, I talked to my buddy Jay and he said he's going to play the song on Thursday as well, right? And it's kind of pumping up the stations and the podcast and everything. Oh, because we're out here pumping you up and pumping all those tires too. So a little quid pro quo goes a long ways in this industry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've always been this way. I always liked helping people, and don't look for anything in return. Just, you know what? Hey, if I can, I'll do it, and I'll tell you if I can't. But I have a lot of control at the station that I'm at and the stations that I've been at that I can kind of call the shots and do play the music that I want because it works for our listeners.
Man, that's great. Jay, before I let you go, I want you to plug the station, obviously, and anything else you got going on, and I'll let you get out of here.
Yeah, just if you wake up early in the morning, it's Jay Brooks in the Morning Rush. It's on 98.7 Kiss Country. We stream it. It's a download free. The app, we have that 98.7. I don't know if you got to put a point in there. It's been so long since I downloaded it. So it's either 987 or 98.7. Or both of them might show up. I have no idea. I can't remember. So, but we got that. You can stream us. We got a website, 987kisscountry.com, the official 987 Kiss Country Facebook page. So it's Jay Brooks at Facebook, and I have too many Facebook pages. Now I got the Midwest Drive, so that a lot of those
just followed the drive today, actually, man. So
yeah. Yeah. So it's there's so many. I need a secretary. Can you find me somebody, Bubba, that can do all my social media and all that good stuff? Because I can't keep up.
Oh, brother, I feel you in every way. Well, Jay Brooks, I really appreciate everything you're doing over there at 98.7 Kiss Country, and thanks for being part of the scene.
Well, thanks for having me on.